Hello again, Gary Ferguson here. My book has been written, and what I've learned so far about God and truth and Christhood is now available on Amazon. The next stage in my journey is to speak my truth. I will do that here on my YouTube channel. As a child born into a Christian family, I was very familiar with the story of Jesus and the promise of a return. The vision in my mid-teens showed me an original idea about the second coming that I knew would not be well received. I had never heard it mentioned or referred to in any way, so I kept it to myself. I was the only one who had to seriously consider what I was shown. It was the events leading up to the vision that compelled my attention to it. Intro, Part 2, 3, and 4 present those key events. When I was a child of about 5 years of age, I was told, or somehow became aware, that God was everywhere and knew everything about everyone. I was told that God was always with me and always watching, and therefore I should always be a good boy and kind to everyone. This required very little effort on my part, because it was only asking me to be myself. But those words fed my sense of wonder. How could it be? How could God be everywhere and know everything about everyone? I believed it, but I couldn't understand it. My 5-year-old mind could not grasp it. But the idea stayed with me. I would lie down in grassy fields and incorporate that awareness into my sense of wonder. I would look up and think to myself, God is in that cloud, and God is in that bird, and God is in that tree, and God is in the space in between me and that cloud and that bird and that tree, and God is in me. God is watching as I think these thoughts. My new awareness of God gave birth to the first desire I ever had that couldn't be satisfied with a toy or a bag of candy. I wanted to know how God could be everywhere and know everything about everyone. I just wanted to know. One memory from my early childhood that remains particularly vivid happened in my 7th year. It began with Mom's insistence that we attend church on Sunday morning. Sunday school started at 9:45 a.m. in the classrooms just inside the rear entrance of the church. At 10:45, we would be dismissed and make our way to the front door of the church to take part in the morning service. But Sunday school was my favorite. That's where we learned about Jesus. We became aware of the things he'd said and done. It was a calm and relaxed, informal atmosphere that fed my sense of wonder. One particular morning, as we were dismissed from Sunday school, I kept thinking about Jesus. He was the most amazing man I had ever heard about. As I exited the back door of the church, my mind remained fixed on Jesus. I wondered what Jesus knew. I wondered what it was like to be him. In my mind's eye, I imagined Jesus high up in the sky, looking into empty space and gesturing as if in communication with someone who could not be seen. At that moment, it occurred to me that Jesus had the best understanding of God. Jesus, more than anyone else I'd become aware of in my 7 years, probably knew how God could be everywhere and know everything about everyone. At that moment, I decided. A way to realize my first desire was made known to me. Believing, as children do, that God is with me inside and out, I addressed God within my heart. I want to know what Jesus knew. Please, Heavenly Father, you can take this life and use it any way you wish. But please, Heavenly Father, allow me to know what Jesus knew. Immediately an idea arose in my mind, and it was followed by a question. Jesus had died for his service to God. Would I be willing to pay that price? Would I be willing to give my life? My answer was almost immediate. Yes, Father, I would give my life. I can't imagine a better way to spend a life than to know what Jesus knew and serve as Jesus served. The phrase, my life, jumped out at me, and I remembered that God created everything, even me. I amended my statement. I want to know what Jesus knew. Please, Heavenly Father, you can take this life and use it any way you wish. It's yours anyway. But please, Heavenly Father, cause me to know what Jesus knew. As I surfaced from the depths of my heart and my address to God, I was moving along the iron picket fence that bordered the perimeter of the church grounds. My head was bowed to avert the brilliance of the sun in the eastern sky. As I approached the northeast corner of the property, I thought to myself, I wonder what I really will do in this life. Immediately, 3 words in big block letters penetrated my awareness as if shot from the sun in the eastern sky. Write a book compelled my attention. I stopped walking. Time stood still, and I was empty of all else. This huge sign filled the length and breadth of my awareness. My mind remained fixed on the words, and I struggled to understand. At this stage in my development, I was still working on C. Flip Run. The idea of writing a book had not even crossed my mind. My internal response reflected my bewilderment. What? Write a book? I can't write a book. I don't know anything. I knew I couldn't write a book, so I shook it off and returned to my senses. I began to walk again. I rounded the northeast corner and headed for the front door. Oh well, I thought, maybe I'll be a teacher. I'll learn something, and then I will teach it. With that, I bounded up the concrete steps and entered the church to meet with my family and take part in the morning service. A life-altering moment had come to an end. A seed had been planted that would gestate until the appropriate season. It would surface again as a possible answer to a question asked in absolute misery.